Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3. Let's get some more. Have your hands. Some more. Let's get some more.
Why, hello, and welcome to My Whiskey Den, your favorite public access whiskey review show where craft whiskey is king. And we have an extra special guest, a friend we haven't seen for a really long time, Jolee Kasperzak. Thank you so much for coming back on the show.
What's up, guys?
Also,
how's it going?
It's going all right on this Monday. Mike's giving the little hand wave.
That's all Mike has energy for tonight.
That's all he's got left in
That's
him.
all you get. Mike's not going to talk at all tonight. He's just going to do hand motions, blink for yes.
And we're kind of hoping he nods off and snores during the show.
Yeah.
The show actually is kind of their secret bets.
Right.
If you have your bingo table for tonight ready, Mike nodding off may be on there. So before we go any further, I'm going to make Mike say something.
I mean, I feel like since Kevin's in the chat, you should bring Kevin on and make him do it against his will every week. But don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification, find out when new episodes are coming out. Leave a comment down below if you're watching this after fact. If you're watching it live, interact with the very nice people in the chat, of which we have very many tonight because Red's here.
Mm-hmm. And thank you, everyone in the chat, for stopping out this evening and being on time. Cheers to you. Cheers to Jolee. I'm sorry. I've had a long day. I'm starting off with something to sip on. You didn't even pour yours.
No,
right,
I thought we were going to, I don't know. I guess we're not doing anything special. So,
I, too, am having healthy whiskey tonight.
Hey, look at that.
Oh,
it's like trail mix.
With quinoa. Yes, the Morning Glory. Kasha bourbon, 60% corn, 12% rye, 16% kasha, 2% buckwheat, 4% malt. Bottled and bond.
It's the
Cheers to Alan Bishop.
And it's all delicious.
It
is.
Okay, Mike, I have to tell you this really quick. So before we get all like professional and stuff. So I'm on bourbon turntable and I'm drinking out of my red glass. And did you see this? Did you see what happened? So I'm trying to keep my fingers like here. And then I think at one time I was like here. And then I think I forgot one time and I lifted it and it just shined the whole thing right on there. So if anyone was paying attention.
I think, hold on. How do
wait.
Yeah, make her big.
I can do that. Let's solo this.
This is my sweet glass. You can't see it. I don't know. I'm having a hard time. There we go.
No, you're doing great. Now it's upside down.
Right, yeah, you got to turn it around.
Oh, hold on.
If you want it to face you while you're drinking.
Wait. I don't know if it needs to face any of us this evening. It can face the crowd.
So I was trying to be professional while like covering up the bottom of my glass. And I feel like I was pretty successful because I went back and like looked one time. It was like me.
That's not bad, especially for how long you were on there.
I forget every time. Every time I forget. And then I'm like, oh, there's a dick in my face. Every time.
See, the difference between us and bourbon turntables. Bourbon turntable won't make your image big.
There you go. So I meant to tell you that night. Like I got off and then I got sidetracked, but I meant to be like, thanks, because I had to cover the bottom of my glass the entire
You had to cover your junk.
Right. Yeah.
You can let that fly on our show. That'll be another bingo card thing.
Keep your shit
We're-
tucked in.
We're over 5 minutes.
Is that what we were waiting for?
Did we make it? I forgot
we
that
did.
was a rule.
I didn't.
We
I don't
made-
pay
we
attention
made
to
it.
it anymore.
Okay.
But
This is
Alan's
very,
not here, so-
leathery tonight.
Mhm.
The Morning Glory. It's very leathery for me.
Very interesting. All right. Sorry, I'm gonna make. What was that noise?
That was a cork pop.
It was a cork pop.
That was a cork pop.
Something. It sounded like something jumped into the chat down here, and I did not see them.
Oh,
But let's. I want to play a little. I want to play a little game of since you've been gone, because since you have not been on the show, there's been all sorts of stuff that has happened.
Okay.
So since you were gone, we praised these fantastic bottles, and they started kicking ass all over the whiskey nation, and have gotten all sorts of respect. And we love that you helped design, or you did design these. I
was the. I mean, I had a lot of opinions on those designs, but I would say I was more of an art director than I was the actual designer. But I worked with Jeremiah Peterson on most of those labels. He's the one that did the drawings and the designs, like the flower around the Morning Glory. So yeah, I was part of a team of two.
Hey, they look fantastic, because I always loved how professional they looked, and they looked like they came not from our current era, where it was
Thank
all
you.
fancy flash, and I don't
Yeah.
know. It had an air of elegance to it, which is what I dug about it. And I do look for that in things, because you kind of notice how that works and plays into it. So I go ahead.
can I make a catty comment?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, because what I liked about them, and there's a few other ones that are like that too, but they don't emphasize, which I know this is also given your direction and also who made it, but didn't say handcrafted, handmade, small batch, blah, 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 or even worse, one of our most favorite ones, which you can't tell if it's the name of the whiskey or not, but there's one that just says homegrown, really huge right across the top of it, which means absolutely nothing whatsoever. But no, they're classy.
The goal of these, so Alan was a huge part of this. When I say a team of two, I mean as far as like the actual designing, laying out, a lot of that, but every single step of this was gone over with Alan as well. The goal was to have the labels match the whiskey in the bottle. And Alan's whiskey is throwback whiskey. It is something not from this era. It is classy. It is beautiful and shiny and different. And so when you go and you take a look, because I do this a lot and I'm currently doing it now, when you go to a large liquor store and you look at everything that's on the shelf, you really have to, for a 4-year-old bourbon from a small craft distillery, if you're going to get picked up by someone in a bourbon aisle in something like Total Wine, you have to be different. You have to be shiny. You have to be, something on another level, because shelf space is difficult to get, let alone getting your consumer to pick your bottle up. So there's a lot of things that has to go on, because there's a lot of people that will say, a good looking label doesn't mean good looking whiskey. I totally agree, but I need you to pick that bottle up before you can even get to the whiskey. So the whole goal was to make the outside match the inside.
Yeah. And as I've heard people say, you don't want to sell them the first bottle, you want to sell them the second and third bottle. And hopefully one of those other bottles is sitting on the shelf and it is not kissing anyone's ass, right? They look sharp. I mean, there's a reason it won awards. They're good looking labels. Yeah, and it matches the whiskey inside.
Together. Yeah. They're fun together for sure.
Sorry, I
And
just
they're
got
shiny. The foil is the best part for me.
on the Lee Sinclair. It does kind of give you a golden ticket kind of feel from Willy
Mhm.
Wonka, the little gold,
Yeah.
gold foiling in there.
Yeah, they feel, I don't know. I love them. I have them all on a shelf. I have all my Spirits of French Lick bottles together. I have some stuff that no longer exists and some stuff that I probably won't open for a very long time. But I love them. I think they look great. I'm excited that I wanted everyone to love them just as much as we did. So
Do you
and
have the award?
It's fun.
Do you have the award next to the bottles?
I do not. The award is
Oh.
I do not have the award. That stayed at the company.
Okay.
So, but yeah, no,
Photocopy.
I don't need that.
Like a photocopy or something.
I don't need that. I have all my bottles and that's good enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
So
now, since then, also you have taken on a job than working with Spirits of French Lick in the same area. I was going to say of Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
It was where did you end up going?
So I went to Patoka Lake Winery. They're about 20 minutes from French Lick. Okay. A shorter drive for me. I was traveling about 45 minutes to French Lick, 40 minutes. And so this cut my drive down by about 15 minutes. Not that anybody needs to know that. I don't know why I just said that.
it makes a difference.
You all know how much I commute.
What's your average speed when you?
We could figure out where she comes from.
Yeah, I don't know. I listen to a lot of books on tape, except they're not on tape. So what were we talking about? Oh, why did I go over to Patoka Lake Winery? There's a big expansion coming. A super big expansion coming, and I love the people there, and I love the whole operation. So they currently own Patoka Lake Winery, but they also own a marina. There it is. Yay! Look how pretty it is. It's so beautiful. Those two silos, there are suites in those silos. They are hotel suites. And the 3 doors on the upper level, those are also suites. Underneath it is the winery, and the production room is in back. So
that's pretty cool. I like the dual use.
Yep. So our company owns a lot of land cabins. They own a marina. They have floating cabins. So this is not just an extension into a distillery and a brewery, but it's also an extension in our lodging. So it will open up 27 new hotel rooms that will be linked with a common area to the distillery. And then there'll also be a brewery on site. So there'll be a brewery, distillery. There it is. Yep. Perfect.
Hold on here. Flip back and forth for a second. Yeah. This is what I'm not knowing what you were going to go into. I loved when you stepped into this job, even though wine is a little different than whiskey.
Yeah, definitely.
And demographic, because I'm going to have questions about that.
Yeah.
Labels and stuff and with who you're gearing towards, but this is one of the spots that we always talk about as having like a destination, and who you're working for is creating a destination that if you stay there, it makes everyone in the family happy, and you can go experience stuff in the neighboring areas if you want. You almost don't have to leave.
Right. That's the goal.
And some of you won't.
And some of you won't. That's right.
There are woods right behind. No.
Yeah, it's a super cool area. We're part of Patoka Lake, or we're by Patoka Lake. We're about 30 seconds from the gate to the park. Patoka Lake is surrounded by Hoosier National Forest, so it's completely protected area. So there's no like private housing or anything like that on the lake. So it's just beautiful. It offers like 600 campgrounds, a winery, about 5 minutes away. From the winery to our marina is probably about a 7-minute drive. I mean, it's not really, anything. We rent fishing boats, houseboats, pontoons, party barges. So it really is kind of one-stop shopping. 1 million people, the numbers from the DNR, 1 million people drive through the gates of Patoka Lake every year. So, and when you work in our winery tasting room, you hear a lot. You hear a lot of, no, I'm not going to try that. I'm a beer guy. Or we have mason jars that you can rinse and pour in, and one jar has a little pour lid on it, and it has water in it. And somebody always says, "Is that moonshine? Is that moonshine? Do you have moonshine here to sell?" So, you hear these things, and you're like, why don't we have beer? Why aren't there spirits to offer for these people? They're here, and they're drinking with their partners, their friends, or whatever. And why wouldn't you cater to those people that are already at your door? And our lodging is full all the time. So creating another place, and swanky. I mean, they're nice, it's not just, it's these suites, the winery suites and the silo suites, they are, fantastic. So you're getting a hotel upgraded experience in a unique place, 5 minutes from a lake. I mean, it's awesome.
You say, I honestly looked at the houseboats, never stayed on one, but it is intriguing.
Yeah. It's
or the party barge with the slide. Sorry, it's just
but don't you guys do wine tasting cruises and
stuff
like
that? They're called wine cruises, and we invite all of the local Southern Indiana wineries onto the boat where they can offer up their they bring 5 to 7 bottles of 5 to 7 bottles of wine, and they pair it with just like a little appetizer meal. You take a 2-hour tour around the lake, and it's $100 for 2 people. You get to try 7 new wines. You get 2 drink tickets, so you can, enjoy a glass of wine while you're, touring the lake. So, I mean, it's a lot of fun. The area in itself is a lot of fun, and the crowd is a lot different than a typical winery tasting bar or even a spirits tasting bar. It's a lot more laid back, hashtag lake life is a total thing. And so like you said, Patrick, the demographic is a lot different, So even for a typical winery, tasting room vibe, it's a lot more laid back and fun, in my opinion.
Okay.
So, are you going to do cruises with brewery or with the beer and spirits also whenever those come around?
That's the hope. Yeah.
Now, is there well, because we all know liquor laws are just really great and modern, is there things that have to change in order for that to happen, or can you do that because you'll have all 3 things there?
I don't think so. I think that we can do it. I'm sure that the DNR and conservation officers will want to make sure that we're being completely responsible with that. But everything we do is above board. We actually, one of our owners is an Indiana state representative, Stephen Bartels. So Steve Shirk, Steve Bartels, and Heather Setzer are the owners of Patoka Lake Marina Lodging and Winery. And so we make sure that we do everything above board 100% all the time. So we look at ourselves as, we try to be an example in that area. So if anybody had any issues with that, then we definitely want to talk that out, see where we are legally. But I do believe that we're allowed to do that. I think it's okay.
Yeah. So I think, and on the water too, it creates a whole different set of circumstances where it loosens it up a bit. But I don't think it would be a problem, because it sounds like it's more a tasting or a special dinner. I mean, there's different ways you can bill it to get move around it.
Well, and everybody's you have to have your ID when you come on, you know, when you have to, when you purchase the tickets, and then when you step on the boat. If you've purchased the tickets and you don't have your ID, if you're like, you know, 50, you're not coming on this boat. So there's you know, we're pretty strict about those things because we have to be, you know. When you have a farm winery permit, and at that point it would be a farm distillery permit, you have to be really careful with those things. They don't give them out very.
No,
very
and the fines are pretty sizable when you get them. And
yeah, I mean, bartender fines are big. So
I remember back in the day they were like $3,000, so they were scary.
Yeah, I think they're about 1,000 to 1,500. Like if you serve a minor, or if you overserve.
That's 3,000 Wisconsin dollars. That's totally different.
Okay, yeah.
Well, we allowed minors in the bar as long as the parent was there eating. So there's some gray area, and though I played on a softball team, some women that were on the softball team may have spoke up for my age a few times when I was there and lied. Maybe I was their kid on the softball team or something.
Yeah, kids are allowed. Kids are allowed in the winery, and we have food and stuff too. So that's not an issue. I just don't think you're allowed to like have your kid at the tasting bar.
No.
Like,
what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. I don't think that's allowed.
How old is Patoka Lake as a winery?
5 years old. Well, no, six this year.
6.
Yeah, 2016 is when they built. The marina, I believe, was built in 99.
Okay. So that's I don't want to say it is relatively new.
Yeah.
As far as that goes, which is good as far as like visiting and stuff. I think.
Yeah, it's a cool area. I'm excited for you guys to come down and hang out.
Yeah, I think it'd be really cool. I mean, all the pictures I've seen, everything, they look pretty sweet. But
yeah,
I mean, I may even have a wine slushie.
Dude, the wine slushies are good. Like,
no, I'm serious.
On wine slushies, right? They do, and you know, myself included. Pre-working for Patoka Lake, I was like, wine slushie, whatever. Let me tell you, I mean, really, all it is sugar, wine, and water frozen. But man, it is so good. We have so many flavors.
I was going to bring this up because seeing the inside of the winery, or where like the tasting room is, there is a section of all sorts of wine. Then there's a section of slushy machines.
Yeah,
that looks like a giant 7-Eleven, like exciting, like happy holiday, you know, like it. And I was like, what? And I know one day you like named off everything that was in there, and it was a crazy assortment.
It is a lot. We just redid the tasting menu, the slushy tasting menu. That's the best part. You can do a wine tasting with all wine slushies. You don't have to taste one single bottle of wine. We get a lot of that. Like, I don't like wine, but I'm here for those slushies. Awesome. Whatever.
We do it. Then we all be holding our temples afterwards because we just have massive.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of brain freeze. Yeah, there's a lot of brain freeze for sure. But yeah, so we have 10 tanks. So we have 10 machines, and each machine has 2 tanks. So we have 20 tanks that we put in. And some of them we double up because they're the most popular flavor. Sangria and peach Bellini, man, those are just off the charts. But we did Dreamsicle last year. That's getting its own second tank. Blue raspberry totally went off. We just added cotton candy. And I mean, they're good. We have a peanut butter and jelly slushie, which is delicious. It has powdered peanut butter in it. So,
do you guys have specific pairings for the slushies?
We don't, but we have mixes and blends.
Okay.
Oh, all right. So you can take it to another level when you're in
right,
there.
like pineapple and strawberry.
So on your 4th day of vacation, you can start playing with the blends.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. You can do that on your first day. There's no rules. It's lake life, Patrick. It's lake life.
But you know, if like with the peanut butter and jelly, if you had like other sides to where you made like, oh, this is a grade school lunch made out of slushies, or even, you know, like this is the Willy Wonka experience. You come and, you know, do this one and
right.
Of course, you gotta have a snozberry, but still.
I see. Yeah. No, but maybe that's a good idea and we should get on that.
You should get all up on that.
Should get all up on that. Yeah. So it's $10. You get 8 tastes. You can keep your wine glass at the end of your tasting, and you can taste any of the wines and any of the slushies. You can do a whole slushy tasting if you wanted to.
For $10.
Yeah. So this is a serious question.
You're hooking people.
Do the slushies? Do you have a to-go that looks like a Capri Sun pouch?
Yes, that's all they are sold in.
Are you serious?
I swear to God, it is a 20 ounce. We also do 30 ounce on Mondays. We have Mega Monday. It's
32 ounce tub.
A Ziploc bag. You can go on to Patoka Lake Winery.com or on our Instagram or Facebook, and you will see them. I mean, it's a part of who we are because it's a lot of fun.
Badass. I think that fits in with what you're doing, because if someone's coming in, they get something, maybe to eat or try something. You're going out on a boat or walking back. It's
right. It's better than taking glass on the boat. Honestly, I mean, exactly. You know what I mean? There is no rule about that, because you kind of just expect people to be responsible. And for the most part, I mean, it is. Patoka Lake is the cleanest lake in Indiana. So our guests are very responsible with everything they have. But I mean, if it's between taking glass to the lake or a Ziploc pouch,
shit happens. You know what I mean? You can always plan against it, but Murphy's Law like just sits on my shoulder. So I assume that crap's going to happen. So why not limit as much as you can?
Yeah, we get people, they come in, they get like 15 of them, they put them in their cooler, and they head out to the lake for the day.
Nice.
And if they would allow this at a quick trip, I think Patoka Lake would be more than happy to put the wine in them when they go out there. Because damn, it does sound exciting. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My wife is going to take it to a whole nother level.
Wait till we have spirit slushies.
I'm
super excited about that.
Just spirit slushies, or are you going to do like cocktail slushies?
Oh yeah, no, we're going to do all kinds. We're going to do all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff.
I don't know. I just thought that was such a, like we talked about the demographic, such a I don't want to say a dramatic twist, but you are marketing to like a different group as your core. Yes. And I know we have a couple other pictures of some of the wine bottles, and I was just going to bring a couple of those up because it is a little different feel, but I think like with this one that was from French Lick, I was going to say you still kind of have that like a little more classic feel, but I was going to say it's still a lot lighter and friendlier. And like with this one, it's a big, it's a pop. It's a little more excitement. Who doesn't like pomegranate? I mean, no one wants to go through the job of getting it out or dealing with it. But if you can just get the juice, it's fantastic. Or in that case, wine. It
also stains everything, so that's a real bitch.
Everybody's walking around with red teeth. Okay, I know that I could look this up, but I'm going to ask you: is there good camping near Patoka Lake for people who want to camp instead of staying? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it in the state park or is it other?
Yes.
Okay.
No, both. There's both. There's camping around. There's other places besides our lodging. There's several other cabins that you can rent from. There's a few Airbnbs in the woods that you can do. There's tent camping. There's RV parking. There's primitive campgrounds, the whole thing. So they have an archery field. They have disc golf. What else? They have some other stuff inside that park.
I was gonna say this to me. This feels a lot like there's a section down by Wisconsin Dells that has a state park around it, but there's this one road where you can go in and you can get to a restaurant that's in there. And I feel like your place has the same kind of feel where it's like you have all this cool stuff, but you're also surrounded by wilderness. So it's like you're just gonna trek into like
There's trails all throughout the park. I mean, you can see them. A lot of them go back in, but some of them follow along the roads, so you can walk all through everywhere. There's obviously maps readily available for the directionally challenged like myself. You won't find me trekking in those woods. I'm gonna be on the winery porch with a wine slushie. So You'll holler when you get back.
What Phil was mentioning in the North Woods there, it made me think of when you were talking about it, made me think of the Great Outdoors. Where I was like, it's a lake that you have like one or two docks at, but it has all this other fun stuff around it. But it's secluded enough that you feel like you are in your own little area.
Yeah. And then, I mean, 20 minutes down the road is French Lick and everything that French Lick has to offer, right? They have 2 resorts. They've got 5-star dining. They've got casino. They've got horseback riding. They've got laser tag, putt-putt golf.
Larry Bird's home.
What?
Larry Bird's childhood home.
Larry Bird's childhood home. Let's not get into that tonight, shall we? But fuck Larry Bird. So
all of that.
We can get into that some other time. But we have history. So no, I'm just kidding. We don't.
I mean, you do have his jacket, so
I mean, I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Everyone takes a souvenir.
Nothing wrong with that. I would.
You would?
Well, you need someone to prove it.
Exactly.
No, it's all fun and games until somebody offends Larry Bird.
Well, sign me up. So, all right. So, what's coming first, the brewery or the distillery, as far as actual opening and release?
So, hopefully, the brewery will be open first, and then the hotel rooms, and then the distillery will hopefully be alongside the hotel rooms. But, supply chain is a real problem for a lot of people, including those in the construction business. So prices are constantly fluctuating. There's a lot of things going on with that. You don't really, when you're not on the backside of these things, you don't really see all of those things go on. And so there's a lot of waiting for, equipment, waiting for plans, waining for this, waiting for that. There's a lot of waiting in construction projects until you finally get to, undo the earth and start pouring concrete. There's a lot of things that have to be figured out. And something like a sewage line being too close to, a downslope can really cause something to go back like 1 or 2 weeks, because you've really got to rethink a lot of things. Yeah. If you move something a foot, you have to move a whole building, and then all of those other things goes along with it. So it's been really eye-opening and fascinating to watch the whole process it's frustrating because it's like, let's just get it going already. But you see a lot of these things and you're like, okay, now you know why, construction delays is a kind of all-encompassing term for, we accidentally didn't factor in that extra toilet right there, or you know what I mean? So
is there less or more of a chance that you have to grease a local politician given your owner?
No, dude, we don't grease politicians. We're just nice to our neighbors.
So now, am I right that the brewery kind of has a head start?
Yeah, so it's an existing brewery. So Lighthouse Brewery located in Jasper. They do not have a tap room any longer. But they are distributed in. They're in the hotel, the French Lick Resort. They are at several restaurants around town and within the county. So they are bringing in existing base recipes, all of those things. They will come in ready to go. So that's exciting. I think they're changing their name to Patoka Lake Brewing just because it makes sense. And everyone's always going to say, what's that brewery at Patoka Lake? So you might as well, So
it's not a bad time to rebrand if you're moving,
Right. Yeah,
like
exactly.
If you're going to do it, that's one of the times to do it. So
Right. Well, because you're introducing yourself to a whole new set of clientele, right? At that same time.
Yeah. So Mitch brought up a question about sourcing. So as far as the whiskey, is that the plan for the opening for the distillery, or? Yeah.
So Indiana has a law. Imagine that, an alcohol law.
That you must buy from MGP.
you actually you can't just source and put it in a bottle in Indiana. You have to source it and put it.
That's for all the other states.
Yeah. Yeah. So it has to 40% be sourced and then 60% your own.
Okay.
So we've got some cool projects that we're working on, things that we see a need for in the market that no one's hitting, collaborative projects, and sourcing, but sourcing done differently. So, but at this time, we would still have to wait the 2 years till we got 2-year-old straight bourbon to blend with a sourced product. So now if those laws change between now and the time we open, then, you know, that opens up a lot more doors. But similar to a lot of other distilleries in Indiana, you open up with clear spirits and work your way, you know, towards your whiskey and towards your bourbon. So
I didn't even realize that was the reason for the weeder at French Lick being the way it was.
yes, exactly.
Like I just assumed it was trying to like pull in a little bit older age,
right?
Or, you know,
so that wasn't always the rule. They changed that because I believe, and you would have to ask Alan, you know, what that was, but I think the intent was to have the weeder be completely sourced, and then the law came in, and then it had to be 60-40. So
that's a weird law. I'm just gonna say it's a weird law. I don't like it.
Yes, I don't like it either. It also it stops distilleries from being able to make money on a commodity that's making money right now. It pulls you out of that completely, and you have to struggle with your clear spirits and really, you know, hone that cocktail game right off the bat. I mean, you can talk about making whiskey and storing it, but unless you've got something to try, you're missing out on a lot of cash. So, you know, these are where, in my personal opinion, I think the people making those laws don't understand the whiskey industry and how that works. So,
well, and even if you're, especially because even if you're sourcing 100% from someplace, a lot of times, let's just say, hopefully, you're going for something of a similar profile,
right?
You know, like this is our goal. This isn't it. We want it to be better than this, but this is, if you get where you're going, we're going to be around this area. Or I've had other places which were awesome. We're just like, we got a good deal on it, and it made sense for the 2 years, and we think we bought enough to cover us to get to that point, and we thought it was all right, but for where we were starting up, that was the investment we thought was good to get the rest of everything else moving. And I'm like, I respect that honesty. You know, it's like most people aren't going to say that.
Well, and you know, I talked to Greg Snyder from Chicken Cock about this very thing, because they're sourcing their bourbon while they're working on making and maturing unique bourbon themselves. And I just asked him, are you concerned about building a base on sourced whiskey and then switching over to your own once it's matured and ready to go? And he just said, no.
Good.
No.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, I mean, honestly, it makes sense, because by then you've built the brand, and they've taught anybody that's gone and talked to him and done a tour and talked about Chicken Cock, they know what's coming and what he's doing, that he's building his fan base to be excited about his own whiskey. And so he's not worried about that flip over at all. And I think that the bourbon community is to the point where, you know, I mean, a lot of the people that we interact with, I'm sure there's a whole, you know, subgroup of people that don't really know about MGP and things like that. But once it's on your radar, you start looking for it. So there's a group of people that are going to be excited about the first batch. They're going to be excited about the first blend. They're going to, you know what I mean? And so you're growing your brand, even if it is with a sourced product, you're growing your brand to the point where you can then release your aged stuff and go from there. So I don't know. I think those laws have inhibited Indiana quite a bit as far as that goes. I understand if you want to call it Indiana straight bourbon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then maybe that's it. Otherwise, it has to be classified just as straight bourbon. And I'm okay with that, because that's another thing, is that when you say Indiana straight bourbon, it should mean something. It should be a 60-40 like that, if not more.
I don't think it should be like the whole at that point. Like, go all in on your grains and bullshit at that point. Like I think Texas is at a point where they have like almost like 3 tiers of Texas whiskey, and like the top end is like everything's growing here. No questions asked.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, like Alan's written that Hoosier Apple Brandy outline profile, right? And kind of and mapped a way to what it will mean, in 30 years. It doesn't all start off with, you can only use apples sourced from Indiana. Okay, well, that's like 2 of them. So you have to work towards those things, So
because someone cut them all down.
Right. State of Indiana during Prohibition. Yeah. I mean, you really do need to know your history in order to learn how to sort of fix those things. And I don't think that the lawmakers are, have their heads in the game. That's why it's so important that Steve is there, because you have someone who owns a winery, who's, looking to own a distillery, owns lodging, knows his customer base, but also is in that industry and knows what needs to be improved. So he's in a place where he can really, help us out as far as that goes. Like last July, he worked on a bill that passed, that allowed wineries and distilleries to self-distribute up to a certain amount of gallons. Previous to last July, only breweries could self-distribute in the state of Indiana. Why? So you have to do the 3rd tier system. It doesn't matter if you have, a 25 gallon still and you're, hand pressing all your fruit to make, brandy and wine, and you're struggling to sell, 50 bottles in a week. You have to have a 3rd tier that cuts that 30% out to resell it to a liquor store. Yeah. So this really allows the boutique wineries, the craft distilleries, the craft wineries to get their product out there locally, which will bring people back into your brick and mortar store. So, I mean, since we weren't distributed anywhere except out of our tasting room, and now we are in the liquor store in French Lick, we're in 3 different restaurants, 4 different restaurants, and we had another local, a small liquor store chain. They have three stores, but in the county seat, and that would be, huge for us. And it's better for the liquor store because they're not paying a markup. They're getting that discount directly as well. Mm-hmm. So it's better for everybody, and distributors don't want to mess with teeny tiny little places anyway. That's, they're not interested in that. So it's a win-win for everybody, but you need somebody to be able to have these rational thoughts about government, which government doesn't have.
I was gonna say, or even if someone has that rational thought, sometimes it's having someone in government to be able to explain it to people. It sounds lame, but it's almost like different groups of people. Right. Like it's like I don't buy into what anyone says unless you're in this group. Well, I mean, now you have someone in the group who's like, we're all being stupid. And it's like, well, sometimes it takes listening to someone else to be like, we're not doing this right. We can do it a better way, and everyone can be happy.
You want a chef to set up your kitchen, your professional kitchen. You're not going to have the corporate guy who owns the Chicken Shack, brand logo come set up your kitchen. you need somebody who's in the industry that knows what's going on, that these laws make sense because of X, Y, and Z, or these laws do not make sense because of X, Y, and Z. You're actually maybe hurting your businesses a little bit by some of these laws that are no doubt well-intentioned, but when they get, watered down and then passed, it's like,
or sometimes it's just the implementation of said laws. Even though it sounds good, sometimes just wording, it's a simple, weird wording can make them go awry. So
yeah.
So one thing I thought was really cool, just that when you were talking about starting off and doing collaborative stuff. So, because there's always new distilleries and everything coming up. People can always hire somebody that's a name, or hire a blender, or hire somebody to do this to try to bring a name to themselves. But that's almost a better approach, because you're still sourcing, you're still fulfilling that. But if you're doing, like collaborations or partnerships with the region or not, or maybe something crazy like pull something Texas up in the Indiana or something like that.
Right.
That's really cool. And that's actually better than saying, oh, well, we paid for so-and-so to come in here and make this, and, or we hired so-and-so for whatever reason.
I think it's the personal that's important, right? I mean, that is one thing that I very much learned from the 2020 pandemic shutdown, is that what happened from that is, as somebody on a marketing team, you were forced to communicate directly with your consumers, and not just like this way, but in text messages, in direct messages, because that was really your only way at that point, right? Your tasting room took care of a lot of that. A lot of your face-to-face, you got to do the tours, you got to meet people, you got to go on single barrel picks, you got to have a lot of that face-to-face time. So you were able to get a lot of your consumers that way. When your tasting room is shut down, when you're not allowed to do, even you're not allowed to stand at a bar, you're not allowed to be open, you're shuttered at home. How do you reach your customers? How do you launch a bottled in bond lineup in 2020? Well, you do it by social media. You do it by direct message. You do it by, having, I don't know how many freaking Zoom calls and interactions and all of those things, and connecting with your audience to hear directly from them, what do they think? And I think previous to that was missing in the bourbon industry. And so we were able to gain that and find a whole new way to reach your customer base, because you were forced to, really.
Well, and that was some of the things that, like, people were once that happened, people were very dedicated. You guys beforehand, when you were at Spirit, were very dedicated to that in the first place. Like, before the pandemic hit, you guys were very, very busy, active at night. Then that happened, and everyone seemed to hit that way.
Yeah.
And it did help a lot of people. I see what you're talking about. Just that, I think people getting an honest reaction to some things that they might not when they're just talking with people in general, where you're in a group chat and someone's like, oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah. I hate anise. Exactly. You're going to hear me maybe curse out your whiskey, and then Mike and Ben say it's wonderful. At the same time, and you might be there, and I'm like, I respect it, but I don't fucking like it. That can happen. You know what I mean? But a lot of times, most people wouldn't hear that, or might not hear that, like, that little bit of like a touch criticism that maybe happened more when you were touching out to more people like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think a lot of small distilleries get stuck into the thing of tasting their stuff and not tasting a lot of other stuff. And then you're pigeonholing yourself, only tasting your own thing. Like Wyoming Whiskey said that when they first did their first release. Dave said that he's like, I wasn't tasting enough other stuff at that point. I thought ours was great, and it really needed another year. So I think maybe hearing just like small bits and pieces like that through all of that, I think really helped the industry a lot, and helped make that average person, like you're saying, feel connected more than they ever did before. before I was just a purchaser. I had no real comment. I mean, okay, I'm not a Yelper. I'm not a dick like that who just tries to ruin someone for me having a bad day. I'm sorry. I hate Yelpers. Sorry. I just went down a bad path. I got to stop for a second. Broke my brain.
I just think, it helped. It helped an industry that relied a lot upon image and commercials and things like that to really connect with the whiskey nerds, which is growing the bourbon movement, taking it to a whole other level. So once you start interacting with those people and you start realizing, especially a pot distilled craft brand, right? I mean, and Alan does a lot of stuff that's way different, and he thinks on a whole other level than most distillers. So it's not just your average weeded. It's not, it's not just a regular old story. There's a lot of ways that you can, spin a lot of things, but you have to be who you are when you talk to people, and you have to be, upfront and being authentic. I always said, we didn't have a lot of money. We didn't have a big marketing budget. We had ourselves, we had our personalities, we had our interactions, and we can talk to people. And that's, what it was. And so following along that same line, collaborative projects are more personal projects, So, and it's not just, sourcing or doing things in state. There's a lot of other cool craft brands out there doing a lot of cool things. So
when you start doing that, it reminds me of like community. Like even if you're doing it between different states where there's different places that will do, a 4-state blend or something like that. When you're doing that, you're bringing a little bit of your community there. And you're trying to pull people back and that little bit of knowledge to what you're doing with that. So with what you're doing, you're trying to touch not just the community you have there, but each time like trying to make like extra connections. So I think it's a very smart way to start off what you guys are doing.
It's gonna be unique, and everything that we do is gonna have to wait a little while. So because we got to wait for the building to be built, and we got to wait for then the whiskey to mature. So this is about the long game. This is a patience thing. It's frustrating at the moment because I'm not gonna lie, like I just want to see dirt turned over, and everybody on this team feels the exact same way. But you can't rush these things, so it's just it gives you extra time to lay out your brands. It gives you extra time to perfect your product line. There is a bottle shortage right now. There is a barrel shortage right now. A lot of the things that you say, oh, I want that. Guess what? It's not available to you. Oh, I really love this one paper that I used to work with. Guess what? You can't get that fucking paper anymore. What about these other 3 papers underneath it? Nope, that's not accessible to you or anybody else in the United States right now either. So, there's a lot of places where you're pivoting. So that all takes time too. So I just always think things happen for a reason, and I'm impatient and I want things to get going. But I also believe that there's a reason why things are taking so long. It helps you, maybe get to something you wouldn't have if it was, just everything bam, 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 right, ready to go. So I don't know. I mean, I curse supply chain issues. They are a very, very 100% real thing. But you also have to make it work for you at the same time. Take that extra time, perfect things a little bit more. Don't rush anything, rethink that mash bill, rethink that paper, sometimes, in art, especially when you limit your tools, you're forced to come up with something that you wouldn't have otherwise. And it turns out to be a lot better than what you would have if it was, you had every tool available to you. So I don't know. That's how I'm trying to look at it anyway.
And it seems like the way from when the marina was built and how they're branching out and planning that way, that they actually, it sounds weird, but I really feel like there's a lot of distilleries that don't have, or projects like you guys are working in, that don't have like a 10 or 20-year plan. And I feel like the people that are involved with years have a longer time frame. Like, we're going to get here, but this is where we're going to be. This is where we really want to be. And there's not a lot of distilleries that think in that manner when they're starting up, or any brewery or whatever. A lot of them.
Right.
And I would be the same way. I would be happy to get I got past the 5 years and didn't die. You know, like I made it. I'm better than 35% of everyone out there just because I made it this far. You know, they don't have the vision to go down the road. Like, here's the real end goal. And I feel like that these people do have like a longer term plan.
Yeah, we discuss the end goal a lot. We discuss it a lot because it is. I mean, you can only work for so long, first and foremost, right? So nobody wants to work forever. So we talk about that a lot. What does that mean in terms of what that distillery looks like, in 10 years? So, and where do you want to be in 10 years, So, but there's a lot of going back and double checking and, rearranging things and making sure things are perfect, because now's the time. If the building plans, if you rush those plans, you really have to think about, how is this going to be laid out? There was a lot of time spent on how is the tasting room lined up? Where's the, walk-in humidor going to go? Let's talk about the VIP room. Does that, open up to an outside balcony? How much is that balcony? What does it bring to you versus what does it cost? There's a lot of those things that you don't think about when you see a cool building either. Like, oh, all of those windows, cost a lot of money. So you have to think about, then you're like, okay, what about blinds? Well, you just paid all this money for windows. Why are you going to put curtains on them? Like, where's the sun at certain times of day? How does that affect your tasting room? How does that affect your humidor? If you have all of these, there's a lot of stuff that like, I didn't think about all that stuff. So it's been really cool to be on the, the ground floor of that.
So is Patoka doing anything with to encourage people to bring the used bottles back?
Honestly, we don't own bottles. You mean, as far as I'm like,
bring your empty Patoka bottles back. You get $1 off and then get reused
or a refill. Like there was some place doing it. Okay. Sorry.
No, we haven't done that. We haven't experienced a glass shortage like that.
If they experience the bag shortage, you're going to be in deep shit.
That's right. Yeah, we're going to be.
You'll start going to hospitals and stealing the IV bags.
Right.
Which could be an entirely different market. People go mainline and slushies.
Right.
That might be a thing.
Don't.
There's a lot of labor that goes into getting a label off of a bottle. So if you want to present your best product possible, reusing a bottle is, and if we're talking about labor dollars, probably, in my opinion, might not be the best way to go about it. Now, we purchase our bottles in bulk because we sell about 20,000 gallons of wine a year. So we're not a huge winery, but that's pretty good, I think, for where we're at for being a 6-year-old, 5-year-old winery. But no, we're not to that point. It's mostly with the distillery saying, I love that bottle. Hey, can I get a sample of this bottle? No, it's on a container somewhere. Pick something else. Okay.
Fair enough.
Here's my A, B, C, and D, and they go, do you have E option? So, there's a lot of that. There's not a lot of 200 mLs available right now. There's not a lot of 350 mLs. So, if you're thinking in the area of tourism, you have to think about people packing things as well. Yeah. So what are they gonna want in a 750? What are they gonna want in a smaller bottle? What do you want in a 750? What's okay to put in a smaller bottle? those types of things. So, and rethinking your packaging too. So,
sorry, Kevin's got an exciting idea. This Bourbon Wine Music Festival. I can get behind it.
Depends on who you're bringing in.
Right.
That's true.
Let's just get it all built first, and then we'll talk about some type of music festival that I don't know where those people are going to park.
They can camp.
Parking lots. You have to talk about parking lots.
That is a whole other thing. Even if it's just for buses or something like that, for like
boats
going from back and forth.
You have to think about people pulling trailers, pulling boats, pulling in with RVs.
Yeah, that is true. That's a whole lot. Wow. Sorry, my heater just went crazy in the background. If everyone heard that, sorry about that.
So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to think about. It's been cool because it's a totally different market, and it's a fun market. It's I'm a whiskey drinker. I do enjoy wine. I don't like sweet wine, but I don't like dry wine either. So
what's your favorite wine there from Patoka Lake?
I would say either their Gewürztraminer or their Pinot Gris.
What's your guilty pleasure at Patoka?
Strawberry wine.
You didn't have to think about that one.
Oh, it tastes like strawberry jam. It's so good. It's so good. But I mean, I can only drink so much sweet just in general. So, but yeah, and their Syrah was fantastic. We just sold out of the Syrah. So we're getting ready to bottle another cab. We have a Red Zin out right now. That's really great. It's got some serious oak to it. So we get a lot of great feedback on our wine too. So it's a fun place to be. It's beautiful. It's very chill, and the clientele is a lot of fun. You see a lot of bathing suits.
I just think it.
For better or for worse.
For better or for worse.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of things compared to different distilleries, it's going to be a little more upbeat. Just because of everyone around. Like, it's going to be a little bit more exciting, a little bit more relaxed, a little more laid back. So I think
it's going to be fun because you're going to have the bourbon crowd intermixing with the lake life crowd. And so I think it's going to be fun to watch these people connect and interact. That's one of my favorite things on the Alan Bishop experience that Hunter Coffee says that he loves. He loves being giving tours and watching people who wouldn't normally talk to one another meet up and hang out. And he says he's seen people go to dinner because they met and had this shared experience. So I'm excited to see a bunch of those crossovers. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
It will be. And you also just mentioned something else you're involved in, right?
Yeah, good segue.
Good segue. Look at that kickoff. That's beautiful.
It's like I do it for a living.
Yeah.
Never seen
it. So Bo will be on next week.
Yeah.
So Bo Cumberland is a fucking boss.
He is. I would agree. He is very, very exciting with the videos he makes. And he will be here next week. Him and his cat.
He's a cuddler.
He is. And the cat
too.
Yeah.
I hope the cat's on.
But like we said before, Bo is coming on next week, and he is the brains behind the Alan Bishop experience.
Yeah.
Or the person who had to sit in there with the camera and try to edit down all the crazy horse shit into one concise movie.
Bo had more hair when he started, and he pulled it all out like Homer Simpson. Like, how the hell do I rescue this?
Yes, dude. I honestly don't know. Like, Bourbon Turntable was like, tell us about the Alan Bishop experience. I'm like, the Alan Bishop experience is Bo Cumberland filming a bunch of crazy shit and somehow making a movie out of it. Like, that's what it is. And that movie is so enjoyable and fun. And crazy. It's like the Patoka Lake Winery tasting room. Like, it's just a good time. And I love Bo Cumberland for having the patience to do all of that. But it's not about that. Like, he's like, hell yeah. Like, he's super pumped about this movie and he is so excited about it. And he's like, I want people to know that this is what it's like being in our group of people. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
And when is it coming out?
Okay, so I'm just gonna say it here because I don't know if it's happening or not, but we are hoping for
I'm praying
last week in June at Bourbon's Bistro.
Oh, I was gonna say something like that. That sounds exciting.
So we are Bronner was like, hell yeah, come on over. And so we're just trying to figure out dates right now. There's been a couple kicked around. I don't want to say one because but we've talked about the last 2 weeks. It might change, but we really want it to be at that location. And obviously everybody loves Bourbon's Bistro. It's central to a lot of people that are going to come watch the movie, and we've all had great times there. So, you know, who doesn't love Buzzard's Roost whiskey? So
it's another place that's a great experience.
And doing it right.
Correct. Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Those bottles are amazing.
Excuse me. Sorry. I was going to say that about sourcing before, is like you can source and then still play with it yourself a little bit. Mm-hmm. And 6 months down the road to have something completely different. Right. What were we going to call that award, Mike? I know we were talking about it.
The what?
Fuck just happened. Hey. Okay.
Hey, man, your mic's on.
Whoa, I don't know what happened there.
Did you freeze in real life?
Dude, it's like everyone turned like a weird spinny time clock on my. I don't know.
He froze and now he's blurry. And you're sharpening back up. Slowly sharpening.
What the hell? It's like my Wi-Fi just like crapped out for 30 seconds. I don't know what the hell happened. And it's back to normal, apparently.
You're getting there, yeah.
No, I'm betting my wife is watching a movie.
Oh,
that's not supposed to happen on this new special Wi-Fi package, but that's my
maybe she's watching MacGyver or something.
Tim wants to know why National Alan Bishop Day isn't in June. Because I don't know, Tim. I didn't have anything to do with that, and I still don't have anything to do with that. So you're in the wrong chat for that, bro. I don't celebrate that day.
You know, Tim, you could start, because, you know, there is the International Alan Bishop Day. You could start International Alan Bishop Day observed. So then you've got
really,
the day in June. But the day in June is for the kids who are in school during Alan Bishop Day, normal Alan Bishop Day.
Or during
this way they can the family trips. Think of the families at Six Flags.
No.
Six Flags?
Oh yeah, all the families at Six Flags celebrating Alan Bishop Day.
It's a big thing. There's a parade they have for that.
Everybody's wearing red, white, and blue jackets with do-rags, talking with a lisp.
Shocker helium balloons.
That's right. That's right. All over every family. Yeah.
Yeah. See, you can't get that shit into Disney, but you can get it into like a Great America.
Oh yeah.
I used to work at Six Flags. See all that.
You wouldn't see that in Silver Dollar City, though. I can tell you that.
I've never been there.
It's yeah. They'd probably say that boy ain't Christian.
Andy said he's going to eat blocks of cheese on Alan Bishop Day.
Just sit in a corner. Eating cheese.
Just eating cheese. It's the best way to celebrate Alan. Is just eat cheese.
Brick of cheese in one hand and brick of butter in the other.
He said, "Bring your Polaroid and $5." Oh God. So anyway, yes, you should all see Alan Bishop Experience. Follow it at the Alan Bishop Experience on Instagram and Facebook. There's one trailer out now. There's a new trailer coming out closer to
Release date?
when we do the premiere, and the B clips are the best part about the whole movie. So there's a lot of fun little inner splicing. Bo did a really good job at that. So
I'm excited to see that. I'm jealous that you guys have gotten to see a lot of it.
Yeah.
We've seen all of it several times and edited it and edited it. But it's been fun.
Well, it sounds like it gave you a little bit of a voice, at least as far as chiming in about how you feel about stuff. Then, if you've seen it a few times, like
I was interviewed once. He tried to interview me like 2 or 3 times, and I told him no. I said what I had to say, and then he got all the other footage, so it's fine. You can hear it from everybody else. Everyone knows I don't like Alan. Fuck him. It's fine. But yeah, it's fun because we're all in it. So
I'm excited about it. So I just can't wait till that comes out. But it should be a fantastic weekend, and it's by everything else that Bo does. If you haven't gone over to his channel, please go check that out. 5-minute distillery tours are fantastic. That's something I hope that he gets to go to more of or get to expand some of, because that really brings you into some of these smaller places, even from the air, which is not, if we ever go someplace, not really our forte. I'm not bringing a drone and doing all that extra work. So check that out, because it really gives you a neat feel for where you're going and what you're seeing from them. It's a nice abbreviated look at something where, let's say our show is longer for most people. It's usually an hour or so, and probably the attention span of the average person is only 5 minutes. So kudos to everyone still in the chat.
Did you say something, Colin? Sorry.
What did I do?
Oh my God. Are you reading that? Oh God.
No, that's something that what's going on in the chat? No, I'm not reading anything.
Don't read it. It's just Alan talking about a shocker roller coaster with tunnels.
It doesn't work unless it goes backwards. But
so yeah, Bo's YouTube channel is My Journey Through the American Spirits, and he did all of the Lee Sinclair and Maddie Gladden vignettes for us at Spirits of French Lick as well. So, but yeah, he does distillery tours, and he's got a lot of cool things going on. And the Alan Bishop Experience is just one thing in a long list of very cool stuff that Bo is part of.
I like the 5-minute distillery tours, because I like it. It's just him. It's him, his choice, his thing that he's doing, and they're very well done.
Yeah.
And I've always seen the distillery afterwards be happy that he made it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that, like, you feel like it was a commercial that they asked Bo to produce.
Right.
And it's not.
Wait till he goes to Boone's.
That's real.
Sorry.
Are we allowed to be on the trip? Can I say I'm part of the camera crew as well for that experience?
You should go to Good Times, Bo.
Yeah. Send it to Bourbon Santa.
Right.
Fuckers.
He doesn't like Good Times for some reason.
No, he doesn't. He has a real issue with him. I don't know what his problem is with him. He's really upset with them.
Bourbon Santa is upset with Good Times?
Yeah, he's very upset with them.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to research that.
He was, without mentioning by name, calling them out, and
well, he was,
I don't
name
he,
was like this.
He must have had a bad
what?
experience.
For what?
Kind of calling them
maybe a big transparency issue. Maybe would be the
kind of questioning how they did their stuff and things like that. But it's just like, at the end of the day,
is it
people
a secret?
bought it and they liked it.
Yeah.
So
they didn't feel
labeling,
like they got taken, then it's not a bad thing.
I don't think that Good Times is secretive about what they do.
They're not, but some people believe they are. Nope, this is where we get in trouble, folks. So we're getting down this rabbit hole. I'm taking one more drink.
I don't know.
Let's do it.
I've got a couple of great Good Times bottles.
Yeah, I do too. I've got one. I mean, yeah, the stickers are kind of dorky, but I've got this one, and I swear to God, this one it's called Toasted Coconut. Of course, for the tater sticker, it has Stoned Gilligan on the back end of it, backside of it. But this thing, I swear to you, I opened it up, first smell, and still to this day, it reminds me 100% of my honeymoon in Jamaica. And it's cool as shit.
That's
so
awesome.
You know what? Yeah. So that's a good bottle.
They just did a rye whiskey finished in Tokaji barrels.
Mm-hmm. We had
yes.
So, I mean, I don't know.
It had to. Oh, go ahead, Brett. I'm going to let you go, and then I'll jump in there.
I think that you can't expect. I'm going to be real careful with what I say there. I think that it's pretty obvious what they're doing, and they're having fun with bourbon, and they're having fun with whiskey. And if you like it, you like it, and if you don't, you don't. It's not necessarily about the brand and the label and this type of thing. It's a totally different type of thing. So you got to go into it with a different mindset.
I think his issue with it was, to be honest, him learning about industry standards, which is not really, and wording and definitions, which frustrated with him how something could be called and you could maybe manipulate things. But like we're saying, at the end of the day, are you happy with what you got for the price you paid?
Yeah.
Right.
That's the bottom dollar with a lot of it. There could be all sorts of things, but that's the end all thing. Even if you think, oh, that happened, am I happy with this for $60 or $70?
This is to say, is Patoka going to do some funky finishes?
I have no idea. That's the truth of that. I really don't know. I'm sure that some finishing will be done at some point. We haven't really talked about that, to be honest.
Or attach a barrel to a dinghy out in the middle of the lake and just see what happens.
We have talked about that.
That's right.
I was going to say.
Now
I'm talking to you, Jeffersons.
Where you're talking about the whole legality issue. So I think spirit cruises are totally fine. I don't think it's okay to sink a barrel of whiskey into a lake owned by the Army Corps of Engineers. But who knows?
Maybe if we talk to the Army Corps of Engineers and they get
what if you tied barrels to the sides of boats and you drug them around for cruises?
Like our own little Jefferson's Ocean.
Yeah, what's his name? His name Bartels. Instead of Jefferson's Ocean, it could be Bartels Lake.
Bartels' Lake.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah, I don't know, man. I really don't. I think it sounds like a lot of fun, and I've never heard anybody tell me no. If anyone has any crazy ideas like that, they're like, maybe, let's see if we can. It's so fun to be there. Like, they're just a really good group of people. They like to have fun. Everybody gets along really well. When it's time to play, we play, and when it's time to work, we work. So it's a cool environment, and I'm super excited about it. So please follow us on social media at the Old Homestead DC.
That's true. That's a good place. I'm going to bring up one more small thing you did recently that I thought it was really interesting. You had either a server service training or a customer service training industry night with some of the staff. Mm-hmm. And I thought that considering the current climate of the average individual was extremely important, because all I hear is someplace going and losing their shit about everything. And I thought that having that point now, or at any point for a lot of people, was an excellent thing to go back to. Or if you hadn't had that training, or a little review or refresher, was something to really get into with people, because I think there's a lot of younger people getting into some of the industry that really have not had that and have not had a lot of interaction in general, even before the pandemic, and that got even limited even further. And then to go from not having a lot of interaction to dealing with people who might be fucking Karen level is a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
So I wanted to commend you on doing something like that.
Thank you.
Just because I think it's a really, really big thing for a place or a business in general to learn how to deal with customers, just because we're fucking dicks. Sorry, we're
yeah, I think it's important that the people serving your alcohol know how to talk about your alcohol. So, and actually get a chance, an opportunity to taste it. So DJ, who is the general manager, DJ Hanselman is the general manager of the winery. And I'm the assistant manager. Our operational VP is Heather. So everything is under her. We went to the Schnitzelbank, which is a big German restaurant in Jasper, and just tagged on to the end of, they had a monthly or bi-monthly server meeting. So we made it so it was easy for them. We didn't want anything special just for us. And we brought the wine that they're pulling some more of our wine in to their menu. Cool. So we brought all of that. And then we brought an additional bottle that they won't be carrying just for them to try. So they felt like they got a little something extra too. A lot of those servers have been at that restaurant for a really long time. So I think interaction with people, they know their customers, So it was good for us to say, do you sell more sweet wine? Do you sell more dry wine? Do you sell more bottles? Do you sell more glasses? Do people ask what your house wine is? Do you offer that information when people are ordering? So it's that kind of information that you don't get if you don't go and ask and introduce yourself either. Do you open wine bottles at the table, or does the bartender open them for you? Is it already poured? Do you have people that ask that? That kind of information to know about, the restaurant is just as important as them tasting it and being able to say, I like this, I don't like this, I drink more dry, I drink more sweet, that type of thing. So, and it's good to tell them, like, hey, if you have a sweet lover and a dry lover, here's a bottle of wine that will make them both happy. Look at that.
Flashes from Iron.
Well, John was asking if it's Iron Root. Yes, it is. Ginger Power.
Ginger. Be careful with that bottle. I'm so concerned about you and Iron Root bottles. It just freaks me out.
Yeah, these bottles cannot take a hit for shit. I'm glad they changed them.
You just slamming your shit down or what?
No, I picked up, I had all the bottles lined up one night, and I picked one up, and one of them just tapped one of them live on the show, and it barely fell over, and like this came off.
Blew off.
Or to quote Ron White, it fell off. It fell off. It fell the fuck off. Right live. And then stuff went. Yeah,
Frank's scrambling back there making noises and stuff. And he comes up and he's got like this much of a bottle of Promethean or whatever it was.
Yeah, that was my Promethean. That was my Promethean. My 2019 Promethean.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm a good friend. I'm sorry. I can't help but laugh. Sorry.
That's all right. It happened. And then, of course, I go upstairs to go because it mostly got on me, and I go upstairs, and my kids were just like, "Oh, looks like you peed yourself." Like, thanks, guys. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks. Also, suck it.
Yeah, I know. That's it. One of them. There's apparently a basketball game on tonight, and some locals were celebrating a little early. So I was getting interrupted because I bought calming treats for the dogs because they do not like fireworks.
Oh, yeah.
So, yes. So they're getting doped up. They're getting low dose in anticipation of fireworks, win or lose.
Yeah, it's really what's best for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do the same thing.
Yeah, they shake like this. Like it's bad.
Oh.
It's bad. Anyway.
Oh, that's not fun at all.
Also, Kasha and Icarus 50-50. Pretty good.
Okay. All right.
When you said Wait,
That
I
is
didn't hear you
way better.
said Kasha at first, and I thought you said Kesha, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
I thought he
is
said
that talking-
Kesha too, and I was like,
I was
"Oh
like,
shit,
maybe
are
I
we about
did.
to learn
I don't
something?"
know.
I was like, "Let's
Yeah.
wait to see where this
Yeah.
goes."
She sucks.
Oh, I
She
just got my
sucks.
glasses. Oh God.
My
Yeah.
secret crush. I never would.
I would not say her name on purpose, unless to make fun of her.
That's way better than Kevin's pour on Bourbon Turntable. He did Mountain Dew and what was it we were drinking? Crown Royal.
Kevin's a monster.
Mountain Dew and Crown Royal in his Glencairn glass. He whisked it.
Hey, if you're gonna get sick, you might as well go for it, though.
Yeah.
You might as well just go,
Just go
all the way.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So, all right. So, what else? Is there any scoop about the Patoka land that you can tell us?
No
scoops.
Scoop.
Okay.
I've told you everything I can tell you.
I'm gonna say
All
I'm
right.
like not being broken fully in the ground on all the things. It's kind of hard to toss.
There's
up.
no buildings or no staff.
No buildings. I'm the staff.
I like it.
I'm the staff. I'm the distillery manager. That's my job.
Nice.
No
What an
building.
easy job right now.
So you get to keep the distiller in line. Is that it? I dig that. Just saying.
No, they're interviewing distillers. They're interviewing. They're doing all of that stuff right now. They're purchasing equipment. We have one still that's come in. If you come to the tasting room, we'll show it to you if you're nice. We've got more equipment coming in. So kind of staff is to come, but that's maybe a little bit the cart before the horse, the horse before the cart, the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's all coming. That is not that is an owner.
That's fine. I mean, well, that's all like comes out with time as far as the other buildings get through and fucking inspectors.
So
Sorry,
will
the GTB?
Will the owners or other staff, will this be one where they're just, you find somebody, or they're going to be like an involvement where like they go to Moonshine U or something like that to learn more, so then they're not just
I would
owners?
say probably both. Probably both, because Steve was doing the wine himself. So, and he had made wine at home for a long time. So he was the winemaker for a long time. So then
he did make wine at home.
They went through, DJ's the winemaker now. So, but I think they had one person that they tried out that didn't really fit until they met DJ. So I imagine that it'll be, there'll be a combination of things. Are you okay, Patrick?
Oh, nope. That last one I changed to something different down here. I grabbed a random bottle, and I was not thrilled. So
what was your random bottle?
What was it?
I thought it was a whiskey bottle, and it was a pre-made old fashioned. So it just did not.
Oh,
it threw me off.
That's kind of that's interesting to mix in with your other stuff.
Yep, I like straight booze, so that's just not a good end to the night there. I'm gonna switch back over here, different glass.
Get your flavors straight, dude.
It just threw me off. It was just, I don't know, not even a good old fashioned at this point. So no, nothing exciting there.
I'm gonna put some William Dalton into this mix too, because I want to see what happens.
Are you? All right. And then
I'm going to bed anyway, so
I love you
this is
being
just
your
going
own
to
personal
facilitate.
Are you going to wake up tomorrow morning? Is the question, Mike?
I do have to wake up tomorrow morning. I'm going to vote and go to work.
Oh, you're doing both. All right. Well, we'll give that.
Well, I have a young concerned citizen who adheres to her duty to vote, and also, which I'm very proud of, thinks that it's absolutely asinine that people would walk into a voting booth and just check one party and walk out of the booth. She's like, why would you do that? That's stupid. Exactly.
Yes.
I remember that discussion when she first voted.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's fucking awesome. I'm like, because. Like,
and this is all like, fifth
That's
council ward people and stuff like that most people don't care about. But like, all right, I'll go.
You should care. Locally impacts you way more. Your local politics impact you way more than things do on a national level. That's not to say that national level doesn't impact you, but the people who are deciding to put stoplights in your town,
yeah,
you should know who they are.
It's a different level of screwing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're the ones doing it like to you directly. It feels a little worse. It does.
Not all representatives have wineries.
It was a brandy, not a whiskey old-fashioned premix. I'm in Wisconsin, sir.
A premix. I'm just going to drink out of my dick glass over here.
You should.
That's a good way. That's a good way to end the show. I'll
just throw.
I don't have mine though. Wait, hold on. Do I have this glass out here?
I haven't. This is my first alcoholic drink in quite some time.
I don't have that one, Mike. It must be inside. He made mine Jay and Silent Bob. So I have Jay and Silent Bob on my glass. It's actually pretty cool. I've gotten several compliments about that. He
put a dick on Andy's glass, but my dick is bigger.
You got that right.
Big dick energy.
I think he took the most joy in that too.
Yeah. I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did. But I see what you did there.
All right. Well, okay. I'm gonna cut us off at that point. We've had you on for an hour and a half, and we can't appreciate how much that you took your night off and spent it with us and everyone in the chat who's still here. We really appreciate everyone in the chat for stopping in as well too. But we were excited about what you're doing. We love the projection of where you're at. We love seeing. I do love seeing things at the ground floor with people with a vision and seeing where it can go. Like, and I said, similar, we just had Fred on from Dancing Goat about Distill America. Mm-hmm. That's another distillery that, has goals where it was planned 10, 20 years down the road. And it's like, okay, every time I see you, you're picking up ground to that point. And I'm excited, is exactly what I think you guys are looking for.
Thank you. Yeah. Vision is a good word. I'm excited about it. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for stopping the chat. Jolee for stopping in. Mike for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Remember, it's not the size of the den that matters. It's the love of whiskey. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Woo!